victory is sweet for one Filipina chef who recently won a prestigious honor in Singapore. Johanne Siy was named Female Chef of the Year at the World Gourmet Awards. She joins us tonight live from Singapore. Chef Joe, thank you so much for joining us. We've had Yuka Saso in golf. We've had Alex Ayala in tennis. And now Chef Joe, Chef of the Year in Singapore. Can you hear me, Chef Joe?
Hi, yeah. Hi.
Chef Joe,
sorry, the audio
congratulations. I was just saying, over the past week, we've had female champions, Yuka Saso in golf, Alex Ayala in tennis, and now Chef Joe, Chef of the Year. I mean, what does it feel to be among champions?
Funny that you mentioned that because I was having the exact same conversation with my husband. No,
Right.
No, it's definitely an incredible honor. You know, I'm very proud and very thankful, of course, for everyone's support. A lot of people I know from back home supported me, and thank you so much for that.
But you know what, Chef? You've only been a year, less than a year. You'll only be a year with this restaurant called Lola in Singapore, and you already won this prestigious honor.
Yes,
wow.
yes, I was actually surprised. I was actually surprised with that as well. No, it came out of nowhere because I wasn't expecting it, having been in the job for less than a year. So, yeah.
But I mean,
definitely
I was reading your background, Chef Joe. You have a double major in business administration and accountancy, and you are a certified public accountant here in the Philippines. And now you're a Chef of the Year. How did you stumble upon becoming a chef?
I like actually that you used stumble, no? Because that implies that it's not intentional.
Yes.
In fact, at the onset, it was that, no? I didn't set out to become a chef. It was really more of a hobby for me. And then it was more of when I moved to Singapore, and then, of course, being exposed to like different outlook, different cultures, different cuisine, that my mindset changed. I realized that you can make a living out of doing something that you're passionate about, sharing a little bit of yourself more to, you know, your people. And then, yeah, you can actually carve a career out of something like that.
And your culinary style, I read, combines modern European fine dining with Mediterranean influences, which is the food you put on the table at Lola. You know, I lived in Singapore for 22 years. I would always go to Ang Siang Hill, which is the location of Lola, but I never really got to eat there. I mean, maybe when I do come back. Tell me, Chef, where did this training come from?
Of course, in school, the background is always, you know, the foundation is always French cuisine. Somehow the French has managed to codify all these recipes, all these techniques into something that's like a very effective framework for teaching gastronomy. No, so it's really more that. So, and I love that. I love that whole aspect, the rigor of it, knowing how to do something properly, having a right and a wrong way to do it. Because for me, I strongly believe that you need to know the rules before you can break them. You know, and that's how you develop as a chef. And of course, later on, I built on that foundation, you know, the people, the chefs whose visions I shared and whose styles, you know, like I aspired to. They were chefs who were actually also, you know, engaged in French cuisine or modern European food. So it just flowed from there.
Chef, just watching the pictures right now on our screens, your dishes are really mouth-watering. I can't wait to go back to Singapore for a vacation. But to go back there for a vacation, I will have to quarantine for 3 weeks. Tell us, when I visit Lola, when I go back to Singapore, what do you recommend should I order for my appetizer, my main dish, and dessert?
Okay, it's very hard to recommend, no? Because at Lola, we have a seasonal menu that's ever evolving. So it depends when you come, you know, what time of the year you come, or whatever is in season at that point.
Let's say next month. Let's say next month.
Yeah, we actually always change it, but we also have a perennial menu, which is more of, you know, like favorites, like dishes that our regulars can keep coming back to, and they're always sure it's going to be there. No? So there are two dishes that I would definitely recommend. They're fairly new to the menu as well. One is a beef tongue skewer that is actually reminiscent of our local isaw. And another dish that is a beef tripe stew that is reminiscent of kalyos. No? So these are dishes where you can see the influence of my heritage and at the same time my culinary upbringing coming to the fore. So yeah, I would definitely recommend that you try those out.
Wow, it's really a fusion, no? Because you're exposed to an expansive variety of food. But are there times, Chef Joe, when you still crave for Filipino dishes? And which dishes are these?
No, definitely, of course, you always being based overseas, you always crave for the taste of home. And it used to be that, of course, pre-COVID, we would go back home, we would travel all the way from Manila to my hometown in Tagupan, where we just eat everything that we've missed, go from one restaurant to another, dishes that, are part of our memories in our childhood. But now, since we can't do that, what I do is I try to recreate these dishes back home, lengua, adobo, kare-kare. But it's not quite the same. It's very tricky because you grow up with certain expectations in mind. Even if you just change the brand of soy sauce that you use, for example,
That's
the
true.
balance is completely off. It doesn't quite taste the same. So it's very tricky to do that.
Oh
but
my
yeah,
gosh.
I have no choice now.
I love kare-kare and lengua. So do you see yourself doing this for a long time? Or would you still like to return to the corporate world and fulfill your double degree in business and accountancy?
No, I'm actually very happy with where I am right now. Of course, I'm only just beginning. No, there's so much more to learn, so
Right.
much more to do. But every day I wake up and I'm excited for what the day holds, the possibilities in terms of like the people I'll meet, the restaurant, the combinations, the flavor combinations that we'll come up with, and the produce that we work. And that's something that is really important to me. So, in which tells me, yes, this is something I want to be doing for a really long time.
Chef Joe, thank you so much for joining us on The Final Word. And keep on shining for all Pinoy chefs around the world.